Wife cheated, so I tricked her into publicly admitting to having the affair and herpes. Okay, so I'm the coworker that encouraged him to post this. Unfortunately, your account has to be 7 days old to post here, so I gifted him an alt I made for a joke about a month ago. This story is about 12 years old. I told it to one of my coworkers yesterday, and he said I should share it to Reddit. Today, he again nudged me, so here we are having drinks before the 4-day weekend, and my writing is complete. So first time here and hi y'all. Sorry if there are typos. I included a TLDR at the end. In college, I met the woman who I thought was my one. We dated for about 2 years and had a big-ass wedding after a 10-month engagement. Her family was pretty well-to-do in a small southern town. We were both continuing our educations, and I was also working to support us. I was pursuing a master's in engineering while she was finishing her doctorate in anthropology. Over the summer, an opportunity came up for her to make some extra money going as an aide on a religious studies trip to Jamaica. I didn't hesitate when she asked me about it. I mean, she was going to get to visit Jamaica and get paid for it. I saw no downside other than missing her being at home for 6 weeks. Little did I know at the time, but she had been ducking the professor he had hung out with us. Smoked my weed and drank my ducking beer. I considered him a friend who arranged the trip for a couple months, and it was a getaway for them to bang all over the island. I, clueless and happy, went about the weeks while she was gone taking extra ships so I could match what she made in our account and surprise her. What a dick crap, right? One of the students from the trip actually seeked me out to clue me in. I didn't believe him until I started looking for evidence on my own. I broke down and checked her texts while she was sleeping and nothing was there. There were a few VMs, so I decided to listen, and there it was, a message from that giant asshole saying how exciting it was that I almost caught them. I opened up her laptop and hit the emails after that. It was piles and piles of crap, making fun of me for not knowing, ducking in our bed and laughing about it. There was so much and I was so heartbroken. Still too hurt to take any action. I was lost. I had no idea what to do, so I sat on it for a couple weeks and acted as normally as I could. I noticed everything now. I felt so stupid for not seeing it before. So many signs. One stuck out in particular. I noticed that our stash of homemade weed lube, if you've never tried it, I highly recommend giving it a go, was going down even though we weren't having sex. It was obvious they were also using the fruits of my labor to get off more effectively. This really pissed me off. Like unreasonably so, Hulk ducking mad. It finally all hit me. I was a goddamn joke to these assholes, and they were using the lube I made and ducking in my bed. I didn't hurt anymore, I just wanted to make them hurt. So, while she was studying at the library, I made a new batch of lube. I put enough weed in it for it to smell like normal, but I also added some poison ivy from our backyard to the mixture, and after refilling the spray bottle we use for application, I waited. A few days go by and I'm working extra so I can be out of the house more, and bam, bait taken. That night after she goes to sleep, my plan goes into action. I sneak her phone away and delete my contact while replacing his phone number in his contact as mine. I go to bed but can't sleep because it feels like I'm 5 and tomorrow is Christmas. Dawn arrives and she's in the shower. I get a text. "I'm super itchy, are you okay? Now Lord, now is my time. Look, I thought it had cleared up but I guess I had a flare-up. I'm sorry, but I got herpes, and I guess you do now too. I heard this bitch squeak in the shower. I'm covering my mouth, damn near losing it." I went on to tell her that it was time to end things now. A new semester was about to start and I kind of have a little crush on another T/A. I wanted her mad. This is a woman that never got told no growing up and never had to deal with rejection, let alone from a balding dude in his 50s with herpes. When she got out of the shower, it was obvious she had been crying, but I could see the anger in her eyes. I could see how uncomfortable she was squirming at the table drinking coffee and mulling the situation over. Another little nudge is what she needed. The reply she got to her pages and pages of anger and sadness was, "Thanks for the good times, but can you keep this a secret between us? I don't want to ruin my chances with anyone else." She's flush with anger now, just seething. She gathered her keys and headed out the door without even saying goodbye. I knew where she was going. I booted up her laptop and set it to reformat, deleting her dissertation and any notes pertaining to it before following her to campus. I park a few lots over and rush over to his office, where I find her screaming at him for giving her herpes. There's lots of people there. Professors, aides, students, other faculty. I'm dying. He is beyond embarrassed and confused as duck. She is ugly, crying in front of her peers. I'm in heaven. I didn't even care that people were going to think I had herpes too. The fallout was apocalyptic in their department. He lost his job due to code of conduct at the university. We got divorced the following year. State law was we had to be separated for 1 full year before being granted a divorce. I got to keep most of the assets, primarily savings, and not a ton, but I worked for it. She never finished her doctorate and went on to be a perpetually pregnant housewife that sells Herbalife on Facebook, and he teaches high school now. It took a few years for it all to unfold, but watching it was glorious. Story 2. I've been having trouble trusting again since my GF went behind my back. It's been about a month since the incident, but my GF, 19 of 5 months, had went to hang out with a high school friend without telling me. She formerly had a crush on this person, and we had discussed it before. She had promised she would never go hang out with him alone. But one night, while I was working late, she had been feeling suicidal and sent me a text saying she needed me. Looking back, I should have called, but I was doing my best to leave work ASAP so I could be with her. After my return, I couldn't get a hold of her, and eventually I came to find she was out with him and another one of his friends. Apparently she was very upset and wanted to party, so this guy invited her to come over and hang out. We talked very little that night as I was manic from the jump and she had been drinking. She said she couldn't come home cause she drank too much, and then dropped off the earth. At this point, my trust had been broken, and I was convinced she was cheating. I'm skipping many details for time's sake. But trust me, long story short, there had been many red flags and every sign pointed towards she was cheating on me. But when I saw her the next day, she was devastated and swears up and down she doesn't remember what happened that night and that she would never cheat on me. I noticed that our stash of homemade weed lube, if you've never tried it, I highly recommend giving it a go, was going down even though we weren't having sex. It was obvious they were also using the fruits of my labor to get off more effectively. This really pissed me off. Like unreasonably so, Hulk ducking mad. It finally all hit me. I was a goddamn joke to these assholes, and they were using the lube I made and ducking in my bed. I didn't hurt anymore, I just wanted to make them hurt. So, while she was studying at the library, I made a new batch of lube. I put enough weed in it for it to smell like normal, but I also added some poison ivy from our backyard to the mixture, and after refilling the spray bottle used for application, I waited. Since then, we had many long conversations about it, and ignoring all statistics, and in spite of all the red flags, I decided to trust her again. So we did it. We set up our boundaries and expectations and buried the hatchet. She was sincerely apologetic and gave me answers to all my questions. She did everything I asked her to in order to reassure me. It's difficult though, because even so, a month down the road now, things keep popping up in my head that don't line up, and I can't unhear the conflicting details from the others who were involved. I know I told her we could move past this now, and I promised I wouldn't hang it over her head. But I lay awake at night sometimes and wonder if I really know the truth. I want to leave it in the past, but for my own good I can't help but wonder whether I'm being naive or paranoid. I go back and forth between full faith in her story and harsh skepticism. I can't seem to pick a lane though. Not all the time, but sometimes I have trouble trusting or investing in her because of it. All in all, I just want to leave it in the past so her and I can look forward to a happy relationship together. Every now and then I worry I'm incapable though. Can anyone relate? Am I crazy? Will this subside? I need fresh perspectives.